Hey guys, Billy Hanks here, and today I am reviewing the fourth film in the MCU, and that is Thor. And after The Incredible Hulk and Iron Man 2, I lost quite a bit of respect for the MCU. But this movie, I've got to say, redeems it. It's not a perfect superhero movie, it's just, it's good. It's really fun. Probably one of the most fun Marvel movies ever made to date, I would have to say. One of them, I'm not saying it's at the top. So, in the previous three films, Iron Man, The Incredible Hulk, and Iron Man 2, they all take place on Earth and nowhere in space. So it doesn't really feel like a universe, but when this movie came out in 2011, it felt like a really big place, like a really big universe, because the first, 30 minutes this movie takes place in Asgard, and that is at the other end of space. It is one of the 9 realms, and the one that we live on is Midgard, or Earth. So, man, things I liked about this movie. The expansion of the MCU, like I just said. So, yeah, we are introduced to Thor in this movie, who is played by Chris Hemsworth, and he does a pretty good job as Thor, I've got to say. He is the perfect person to play Thor. And another thing I liked about this movie, Tom Hiddleston is the villain in this, and he is Loki. And man, I have complained about all the villains right now, like so far in the MCU, but I cannot complain about Loki. He is one of the best villains I've probably ever seen in cinema, I've got to say, because he is not forgettable at all. He gets a lot better, though, in the Avengers, like 10 times better in this one. He's alright. He's not forgettable in this one, but he's just not the Loki that he is in the Avengers. That's really all I can say at this point. So basically, we are also further introduced to S.H.I.E.L.D. They explain more about S.H.I.E.L.D. and all that. And Agent Coulson, he was in the first Iron Man, and I forgot to mention he was in the second. He was in the second. He's also in this movie. And I actually really do appreciate that, because then you see he's not just in the Iron Man franchise, but he's also in the Thor franchise. What else did I like about this movie? I like that he comes to Earth, and the comedy when he comes to Earth is pretty good. It's hilarious. There's this one part where he walks in the pet shop, and he's like, "I need a horse." And after that, it's comedy. I mean, it's awesome. This movie is pretty funny. So another thing I liked about this movie is the fight scene at the end. It is pretty cool. He fights this thing called the Destroyer. It's like a big metal. Crafty Lou just walked in.
Of course. I always walk in.
Yeah. So, another thing I liked is Natalie Portman's in this movie, and I'm a big fan of Star Wars, and she played Padme Amidala. But in this movie, she plays Jane Foster. So, I like her. She's pretty good. And she does a really good job as Jane Foster. Let's move on to things I didn't like about this movie. Things I didn't like. It was, I enjoyed the comedy, but it was, it got to a point where it was a little too gimmicky. It just felt like more of a pure comedy movie than a superhero action movie. So that's one thing. I don't think I hate that. It's just I kind of wish it wasn't as gimmicky as it was. I do appreciate that there was comedy in that, because, if you're having a God of Thunder star in a movie like this, then why play it up to be serious, Another...
Guys, I am checking out for the day because, tomorrow I'm going to a baseball game. I'm going to stay up till 10.
Alright, Crafty Lou, we don't all care about your big plans, no offense, but...
Look how cute he is.
Oh, it's Ubi. Boy.
Oh, please. I want to send a video to Jimmy Fallon, because I like saying, ew! And, wait, did you...
We're totally going off topic with the movie.
Wait, she's kind of cute.
Natalie Portman? Oh, yeah.
Doesn't she play Padme Amidala?
Yes, I've already mentioned that. So,
Princess Leia?
Moving on to things I didn't like.
And James Foster?
Yeah, that's who she plays in this.
Yeah.
Alright, back on topic. Things I didn't like. We were introduced to Hawkeye in this too, but he only shows up for like 2 seconds. Like when I saw him with the bow and arrow. Yeah, see ya. When I saw him with all of his equipment getting in a getting ready for battle, I was like, oh, sweet, Hawkeye's going to be in this. And I thought they were going to introduce Hawkeye like they did with Black Widow and Iron Man 2. But no, it was more of a cameo, so that was kind of a bummer. It's too bad they, didn't have him fight at the end. That would have been awesome. We are also introduced to the Tesseract at the very end, which is something that contains an Infinity Stone, and that will be more important later on because the last film in the entire MCU is the Infinity War Part 1 and 2. But it's nice that we were introduced to these things later on. Something I didn't like about it, though, is it only showed up at the post-credit scene with Nick Fury. That, I didn't really like that. I wish it was in it more. But it's nice to see that we have an Infinity Stone introduced. So, I like this movie more than I don't like it. And it's pretty straightforward. I like this movie quite a bit. If I had to rate it, I would give it, maybe an 83. I would give it an 83. It's a very good movie, don't get me wrong. It's just not there yet. It's not as good as Iron Man, but it's definitely better than Iron Man 2 and The Incredible Hulk. This is a movie I would definitely rewatch. So that concludes my review of Thor, which is the fourth film in the MCU. Be sure to stay tuned for the next one, which is Captain America: The First Avenger. So I will catch you guys later.